Good day, brothers and sisters. May the Lord bless you. I want to testify to glorify the name of my Heavenly Father. The Lord told me through His holy prophecy that He will be delivering a loved one. And the doctors had diagnosed one of my relatives with schizophrenia. The Lord told me that He will be healing that person. And 1 week before I traveled to the United States, Sister Maria Luisa was doing a Bible study. And my family was worried because my sister had told me that my brother was going through a very difficult time, to the point where even his medication was no longer helping him. I prayed to the Lord from the bottom of my heart, expressing my deep longing to see my brother and to give him a hug and for him to be completely healed on the day I arrived. And 1 week before my trip, Sister Maria Luisa held a Bible study in Norcross, Atlanta. And 10 of my relatives were present, including my brother, the one suffering from this illness. After the Bible study, I prayed to the Lord to perform His work in him. And indeed, after the Bible study, my brother reacted in a completely different way. He is now perfectly well. When I saw him that week, I was able to give him a hug, and he spoke to me in a normal way, so normal that I couldn't believe what my sister had told me. And I know that the Lord performed this great work in him because I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes, and I said, Lord, you have performed this great work. And I testified to give glory to the Lord.
I testify to give the honor and the glory to the Lord, that the Lord promised to fulfill the desires of my heart. I asked the Lord for a change in my work life because I wanted to spend more time at church. I felt that working so much was distracting me a little. And that's how the Lord allowed for a colleague at my workplace to have a contract change and for a position to become available. And I would say to him, Lord, how wonderful that contract would be. But my colleagues would tell me, no, don't even get your hopes up, because with your score, it's not going to be possible. Those contracts are usually given out with a much higher score. I would ask the Lord, and I would say, Lord, I don't want to ask the help of a man or a supervisor to help, because I don't want to do things because they are done out of favoritism or out of cronyism. No, Lord, I want everything to be legal, prudent, and orderly as you have taught us. And I ask you, my King, to allow me, to grant me this job. And that is how the Lord fulfilled His promise. A few days ago, I received a phone call that He said would gladden my heart, and it was my supervisor, very excited. And she told me, Valeria, I don't know how and I don't know why, but Human Resources has called me and told me that this contract is for you. So I give glory to the Lord. I also want to testify that when I came to church, I arrived with my little girl in my womb, and that the Lord told me that He had brought me, that me and my little girl that I carried in my womb, and that He was going to bless us, that I would never feel alone, because He would be with me, that He would give me wisdom, and that He would help me to raise her and educate her, and that I shouldn't worry because she would always be with me here at church. When my little girl was about 4 or 5 years old, the Lord spoke to me about a situation that was difficult with her health, but He told me not to worry because He would always be with us. When she was about 12 years old, that situation arose, and they were very difficult moments because I saw that she was suffering. But the Lord is so good and merciful that the more difficult those situations became, the more He rewarded us and blessed us with His mercy in a spiritual area, because it was at that moment that the Lord granted us, both her and me, those spiritual blessings, many spiritual blessings. The doctor said that the situation could last a lifetime or perhaps many years, but the Lord promised through prophecy and His children that the situation was already resolved, that the Lord had already done that work. At that time, there was a Bible study, and Sister Maria Luisa prayed for many illnesses, but especially for that one. And we trusted in that prayer, And what science said would last a long time, the Lord did in months. The Lord healed and delivered my little girl. Today, we are happy, joyful, and I testify all of this to give glory and honor to the Lord.
A year ago, the Lord in prophecy told me that He would be healing my father of an illness, that the enemy was attacking him strongly with his voice, that this would be so that my family would comprehend and understand that only He had the power. My father began to lose his voice, but my father attends church and still has many doubts about our sister Luisa, and I believe even the power of the Lord. And the Lord told me that He was going to allow him to get his voice back so that he would magnify the name of Sister Luisa. My father went to the doctor and he had the beginning of cancer. The Lord glorified through a dream where the sister told him to talk to God and to sing because he did not have anything. My father got his voice back. The doctors were confused. They did not know at what moment. They did several videos because they did not know how that small tumor had disappeared. But the Lord kept telling me that even though my family attends church, they doubted about the testimonies or the things that my husband and I testified of, the beautiful dreams that the Lord worked, and that He was going to show them even more of that power. 3 weeks ago, my grandfather, who is 95 years old, was hospitalized for an abdominal aneurysm, and the Lord told us not to worry because He was going to glorify Himself. And He gave my mother a dream where she saw my grandfather and my niece and allowed her to see that pain, but that he would get through it. My grandfather only lasted 3 days in the hospital for the honor or glory to the Lord. The doctors did not know how the pain did not come back, and how that aneurysm has been minimized because it is difficult for that to return to a smaller stage. And the Lord has done everything out of mercy because He says that He has to often show those hard hearts how He really manifests Himself, and that my family would testify of that. This is how my mother has testified to honor and glorify the name of the Lord.